Hello, I'm Lucy Murphy and I'm the Director of Kids Content for Sky in the UK and Ireland. Sustainability is important to Sky both on and off screen, and we've got a really long heritage in terms of using our voice to drive change and awareness about environmental issues. Just to give you a couple of examples, we were the first media company to go carbon neutral in 2006, and we saved over 1 billion trees through our Sky Rainforest Rescue mission in conjunction with the WWF. And in 2017, we launched Sky Ocean Rescue, which drew attention to the issue of single-use plastics in the ocean. And through that one campaign, we reached 50 million of our customers through Europe and have driven significant change in the use of single-use plastics in our business. And we do also reflect that on screen with our productions.
Hi, my name is Genevieve Margaret and I'm Comms Manager for Albert. Albert is the leading screen industry organisation for environmental sustainability in film and TV. In short, we help the TV industry both behind the scenes and on screen to look for ways to become more sustainable.
Sky was a founder member of Albert, which is the TV Industry Sustainability Consortium, and that was 10 years ago. And we've worked closely with them ever since to deliver our strategy of sustainability. So every production Sky makes has the carbon footprint of the production calculated, and we offer really thorough and easy steps for producers to take to reduce their carbon footprint. And that now is a contractual requirement for Sky commissioned programmes.
At Albert, we would say that sustainability is everyone's responsibility, and that goes from everyone in pre-production through whilst you're in production and in post. For a writer coming up with storylines, it's their job to be thinking, well, how can I be bringing a sustainability storyline into this story? Or how can I simply just not be encouraging unsustainable lifestyles through what I'm showing on screen? For a commissioner, it's about saying we support and encourage producers, developers to come to us with sustainability storylines. Once you're into production, we would recommend a green memo right at the start of a production so that everyone who's on board understands that there are sustainability goals that need to be hit. That should come from someone at the top so that people understand that everyone who is involved in the production can be supported all the way through, and it's not just down to the runners at the bottom to be making these decisions. Then when you're into post, there's obviously certain things that can be done then in terms of choosing a post-production house who can support you because they're on renewable energy, etc., etc. So it's not any one person's responsibility. I think everyone in a production has a responsibility, and there's something that they can be doing to help a production, both on and off screen.
Hello, I'm Grania. I'm from Paper Oil Films. I'm the creative director there, and we are an animation studio based in Northern Ireland. So the Albert certification is really a formula or set of guidelines, ready-made sort of toolkit to help you run productions sustainably. And sure, that's a gift. We want to do the best that we can in all our productions, especially, not just in front of the camera or on the camera, but behind the camera. And so, having a model or a template to follow for the production was great. And, it had loads of things. We started off with a green memo. We had loads of measures about, turning off lights, how we used water, how we use plastic, what we do with our waste, things, very practical things that are familiar to all of us. Turning off computers is a big one as well, because we used to leave them on, so that they would all be connected, but you can turn them off and, the production will crash. So things like that. What I think it really did, though, was it galvanized all levels of the production team around one thing. So whether you're a new trainee or work experienced person, or whether you're a seasoned production manager, everybody has something to contribute. Everybody has ideas to contribute to how we do it better and how we're a greener company. So I thought that was a lovely thing. It's lovely to have that kind of bonding.
Hi, I'm Tom Sanders, Company Director at Tin Mouse. We are a purpose-driven 2D animation company with a focus on sustainability. The Good Hour is our open challenge for freelancers and small businesses to spend 1 hour a month generating new ideas to improve sustainability within their businesses. We wanted to continue the conversation that's around at the moment and to get more companies to think more sustainably. We've created lots of free guides for people to use on a range of topics, and basically just an idea and the encouragement to take that initial step. We personally don't know all the answers, and we really want to learn, so we're looking to create a conversation where people can share new ideas around the sustainability topic, and it's kind of like always building up the little ideas instead of not doing everything all at once.
Animation has a huge role to play, I think, in supporting the sustainability narrative. What we can show on screen is hugely important, and we've seen studies that show that, you know, by showing positive behaviours on screen can have a really positive impact in real life. And I think for the children's industry, that's even more important, because we are talking to our youngest members of society, and we can be starting to explain to them the situation in ways that they understand. We can be starting to build their resilience towards the future, because I think it's definitely not something that we can just foist onto the next generation. But let's be honest, the next generation is still going to have to grapple with climate change. So the more that they can be starting to understand about it now, the better. We've seen studies as well that show that if you are able to positively talk to children, they can possibly talk to their parents and talk to adults, and they actually help to change the conversation. So we believe the children's industry has a huge role to play in helping society to feel inspired to make changes.
Everyone has their role to play in reducing their impact in the environment, and it's something we thought about right early on in Tin Mouse. We became a remote working company as soon as we started in 2016, and it's a really kind of effective way of becoming more sustainable going forward. And I think there's lots of small things you can do as a part of the sustainability initiatives. I think something really simple we can all do is kind of include those messaging visually within our films. So like adding recycling bins to backgrounds, changing petrol cars to electric cars, and, you know, just having, if you're making series work, making episodes centered around like green initiatives and things like that. They're the kind of small things that kind of make a difference. It sounds trivial, but, you know, it adds to the conversation. It makes it seem more normal to people if they're watching those things all the time.
Through talking to children, which we do a lot through all the programmes that we make for them, we know that climate crisis and sustainability is a really important thing. They're very knowledgeable about it, they're very eloquent about it, and they're passionate about making changes themselves. So we cover climate and sustainability in our programming in lots of different ways. It's an issue that we can look at through our weekly news show, FYI, which is a show that not only goes out on Sky News 6 times every weekend, but goes into schools free of charge every week. We've also made an animated show, Obki, which is a multi-part series following a little animated alien as he investigates small changes that he can make and why he needs to make them. And that use of comedy and premium animation is just massively important for us, because we want to use every genre at our disposal to make a change and to get the audience involved.
So people can sign up for free to take the Good Hour Pledge, to spend 1 hour a month generating sustainable ideas for their business. So once you've signed up, you get access to our PDF guides. So that can offer you all the support, or most of the support for your journey. Some of these guides include tips for creating a sustainable office, creating a vegan-friendly workplace, and just general tips on how to conduct your first Good Hour meeting. All the guides are created by us in-house, so it's kind of like all built from our experience and what we've implemented. And we want to kind of give that information to you guys to start your journey.
When we're looking at commissioning shows at Sky, sustainability and accountability is at the forefront of those decisions. So every production that we commission has to sign up to Albert certification, so that we can help productions become aware of their carbon footprint and take steps to reduce it. And we also have something that we call the Planet Principle, which we encourage editorial teams to take into account when they're really at the very outset of a production. There's no point trying to layer in environmental themes after you've written the scripts. It has to be taken into account right at the beginning of a commission. So those 2 things, the sustainable production principles that we can offer our production companies that we work with, which give them really good, practical, behind-the-scenes guidance on how to run a production sustainably. And then the Planet Test, which we ask editorially to be taken into account at the beginning of a production, give us a really holistic way of tackling climate and sustainability through production and through the stories that we're telling on screen.
Even if you weren't able to use Albert for your first production because of any of the reasons, time or resource, there are still certain things you could be doing. You can be using our Green Memo templates. You could be just starting to make simple changes to your production in order to reduce your carbon footprint. Or you could be thinking about what you're doing on screen to make changes as well. So even if time and money are against you, we believe there are things you can start to be doing. And every production, if you keep adding on a little bit more, it won't be long before you look back and realise you've made some huge changes.
I would totally recommend people to use Albert. It's a system and it's a template and it's a way of doing things. You know, we don't have to invent the wheel on this. You know, the Albert people have all got together and thought of ways that you can be greener, that you can reduce your carbon footprint. We all want to do that. We're all good-hearted people in this industry trying to do nice things for children and great content for children. So, of course, people are going to want to bring that in behind the camera as well.
As an industry, we have a responsibility and we have a power. We reach millions of people and thousands of kids every day. And there is great power in our collective efforts, and we shouldn't forget that. It's not up to one broadcaster or one production company to be spearheading a sustainable future. We've all got to do it. We've got to work together, we've got to share our learnings, and we've got to find ways to track and report on our collective impact.
I think the future for sustainability in animation is really exciting. Behind the scenes, there's so much work happening across the sphere about looking at different aspects of a production and with technology. So, for example, how are we storing all of the footage that we're creating, and how can we do that in a more sustainable manner? And there's so many in other industries where I think in the future we'll be able to apply the learnings that they've got to our industry as well. So I think the future is bright. And really the point I'd like to finish with is that for animators, the opportunity is on screen. What we show on screen has the biggest opportunity, I think, to inspire and help the next generation.
Continue doing some of the things we've had to do through the pandemic, such as not jumping on a jet plane to go for a meeting when you can really effectively talk to people and work with them like we have done on Zooms and Teams and all those video conferences. Of course, there's nothing quite like that creative spark that comes from getting together around a writer's room table or in a production meeting, but it doesn't have to be every time.
I'd like to see more remote working. Again, we've been remote working since 2016, and it's definitely more effective in terms of reducing the commute, reducing the carbon levels. It may not work for everyone. I think the smaller you are, the more effective it can be. Reduction in carbon footprints in daily commutes is really achievable these days, and there are not many reasons against having a hybrid working environment. Today's technology, such as like cloud drives, virtual meetings, can work just as well as physical meetups.
I hope bigger, better productions coming out of this amazing country with this wonderful heritage of creating brands with children at their heart. And I think that's something that we all want to do, because all of us in this industry care about creating meaningful experiences for children, and we care about what children experience, and we want to make sure that in doing that we're creating a better planet for them to grow up in.